Fred, thank you so much for joining us today, man. Actually, most people are joining us from the comfort of their offices or their living room. You're literally on the other side of the planet in a location that has some political unrest. Where are you coming at us from, man?
Well, first, thank you. It's my pleasure, really. And now I'm in the west of China, so it's not the China you imagine. It's China that is really close to Pakistan, Afghanistan, the north of India, and well, it's quite interesting. Tomorrow, I'm starting a very exciting journey to the Everest, the Himalaya, on motorcycles with my friends, and we are taking a lot of gear from my company that we're going to test future products and so on. Yeah, there's a little bit of political unrest at the moment between China and India, so we have to ride at night sometimes because the roads are blocked by the army during the day. But I guess that's what we have to do.
That's awesome, man. So you've been writing then for the last 10 or 15 years, right? And I'm actually going to pull my video because it's having some lag and some latency. So I'm going to pull that just so that we don't experience that. That way we can see you fine.
Right.
But how many years have you been writing?
So I wish 15, but it's only 10 years I've been writing. I started in India 10 years ago and on and off riding motorcycles around the world. And now for the last 3 years, I really, I sold everything I had, and I just had my bike and going from country to country and working remotely.
Yeah, so you're an excellent example of an actual digital nomad, someone who takes a passion and then lives a laptop lifestyle. The difference that as I speak with you and as we've communicated in the past, is that you've created an actual brand out of your passion. Can you tell us a little bit about your brand?
Yeah, it's well. First, I wanna say that I think everyone who's starting to do products or even any kind of service should really think like this, like do a brand. I was lucky because I didn't have like a plan that clear when I started, and I thought it was just cool to have a brand and some products I wanted. But this is what created a long-term income for me, because the brand, the story is so important.
So tell us about your past then. How did you get involved in e-commerce? How did you build out Lone Rider? What's the story behind it all?
Okay, so I finished my I finished my university and I started getting a job in insurance and consulting. I was very well paid, but I was just freaking out in my office. And after 3 months, I quit. I realized there must be another way to make money. I mean, people were paying me like 2,000 euros a day to give them advice on something, and I have to be honest, I had no idea. It's just it's just the way the consulting industry works, and I was like, it's not possible. There's other way to make money. And I looked at the passions I had and what I wanted to do, and one of them was traveling by motorcycle. So I decided to go in this industry and start doing products.
When people look at other people who have actually achieved, a high level of success, a level of success that they would aspire to, we never see from the outside looking in any of the struggles, any of the heartache. It's just like what people see is Fred is consulting and all of a sudden he wants to create this website. So he creates this brand and starts riding motorcycles. How did you get to where you are now, which is established? You're known for your product. Like what obstacles did you have that actually got you there that people don't see from the outside?
Yeah, first, like, it's like acting with a blindfold when you don't know the way to find a manufacturer, set up a brand, do marketing properly, do sales properly, logistics, setting up a company. all these things, when you start and you don't exactly know how to do it, it's really hard. So you have to find out by falling sometimes and getting some hard times. So I guess I was lucky enough to go through those obstacles for the first 2 or 3 years. It took me about 3 years to generate a normal income where I could just be traveling anywhere in the world without a problem, and it's been increasing since then.
So do you have a large team of virtual assistants that help take care of the customers? How have you organized it? Because, for instance, the trip that you're going on right now, for like the next 9 or 10 days, you're not going to have any internet. So you're not going to be able to handle any business fires that might rise up, right? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I'm sure they're very happy when I send them the message I just sent them yesterday. I'm like, guys, there's no connection. There's a military operation. They are on purpose blocking any internet access. So I will be hands off for the next 2 weeks. Talk to each other, find solutions. Yes, I have a team, and they're all over the world. They're in Ukraine, Venezuela, France, Morocco, the US, and they are working together in English, and it very well. I would recommend anyone to use Upwork. Find your team. First, get all the things that are a hustle to deal with when you scale. Get them to virtual assistants, please. So I'm talking about logistics. So let's say you increase your sales. The logistics are going to get maybe painful. You don't want to be handling this. Other way, it's going to go against your motivation to increase sales, for example. So give the logistics to your Upworkers, and give also the customer service to your Upworker. Because again, you increase sales, you're going to get more complaints. Of course, there's always a percentage of complaints, and you don't want to be handling this.
So when you say pass over logistics to your virtual assistants, do you mean that like maybe your warehouse is in the Ukraine and you're sending your product to a virtual assistant in the Ukraine that then ships them out? Is that what you're saying? Or do you use like some 3PL somewhere in Europe? How do you handle that?
So I tried a lot of different ways. And in the end, the best I found for at the moment was 3PL. So that's third-party logistics. That's basically having a warehouse where you put all your goods and then they are shipped to the customer. It's based in China. They have extremely fast DHL deliveries. So it gets like 3 days to Australia, 3 days to the UK, 4 days or 3 days to the US, and it's a dream. And when I say give it to a virtual assistant, I mean the virtual assistant takes the orders from Shopify or whatever platform you're using, though I strongly recommend Shopify, and give it to the warehouse, checks that everything goes fine, communicate with the customer, give him the tracking number. Maybe one guy wants to change his order at the last moment, and so on. So you really want to give that to your virtual assistant or assistants.
Gotcha, Fred. So one of the things that I really enjoy, because I would monitor a lot of the threads on e-commerce early on, and then I would see you comment from time to time. And as most of the people in the threads that I was looking at were finding products that other people had already sold, were successful, and they were trying to jump on that bandwagon and win some market share, you took a radically different approach. You had a pain point that you identified in your own writing lifestyle. You solved that problem using an existing product, but then you seemingly, to the customer, invented something brand new and entered the market with it. Can you talk to the audience a little bit about that and to that effect, the product development and all down that path?
Well, you covered a lot of points here, so I will try to go quickly over them and my thoughts about this. Well, first, about the people who try to jump on the bandwagon to make money. I think, come on, guys, have a little bit of a filter on what you're doing. Don't sell showers, portable showers for dogs if you don't even have a dog. Don't sell freaking, I don't, like bras for overweight women if you're a teenager boy, just because you think you're gonna make money with this. Please do something that you like, because all the time you invest will be, you know, invested for your future. So you'd rather find a passion that you have, or just you find a passion, just find a hobby, man. Just go do yoga or whatever, and get in that, understand it, and start doing products that you like and you want. Otherwise, all you're doing is going to get wiped out in a year or two, and you're going to start from zero again doing I don't know what. Then you asked me how you turn existing product into something that feels new to the customer. Well, that's we can call an angle. I think you're very familiar with this. Is you take something existing, you adapt it a bit to the market, and you have something new. For example, you take a family-sized tent, which is very comfortable because it's very high, and that tent, you start using high quality material of like mountaineering tents. This way you can make it much more compact, and this way you have a tent the size of a family tent, but much more compact, that the guys traveling on motorcycles can use. So that's one of my products. So now we talked about this, and the last point, yeah, sourcing. So guys, when you find your niche, you find something you like, you have some ideas of product, make sure they're doable. What I mean is you go to Alibaba.com, you look for suppliers in China, Vietnam, whatever. You talk to them, you ask them how much it is, can they custom design it for you, and you start from there.
So just so that everyone's aware, like the product that Fred is talking about is, I literally thought that he had invented it early on when I was talking to him. And he's like, hey man, I just took an angle on it, which I think most people who are building out a brand do, but it blew my mind that he had done it so well, because the artwork was unique. The actual product design was unique. And what it is it's a tent that, like he said, family-sized tent made out of mountaineering materials. And then it's got a section for you to pull your motorcycle inside of it. Because when you're on the road and you have to pull over, your motorcycle is typically outside of your bivy sack or whatever it is that you're sleeping in. And so you've got it all in one. And so if you've got motorcycle repairs, you can do it underneath the roof. If you've got just sleeping over the night, you can do it. And so that was your main tent. Now, here's the coolest part. You're jumping on this 2-week adventure, and you're testing more products and creating marketing materials for new products for your brand.
Correct. It's well, first, you're a very good salesman. If I needed salesman, I would hire
you. Thank you.
And second, yeah, it's super exciting. So if I can share something for the people listening, is building a brand is not just building one product and you don't know where you go from there. I think it's very important that when you guys start, you already have a vision of where you're going. And a very good way to do that is, of course, start in something you love, and start with a product that is not so hard to sell, because it's kind of unique. And for example, let's say in my industry, the motorcycle industry, it's in the adventure motorcycle industry, the people traveling with motorcycles. So I start with tents because it's really small and it's easy to get kind of a space in there. And then now I'm expanding to luggage. I already have customers, many customers, and there's a brand, there is trust, and now we're expanding to a big luggage range with super high quality equipment. And that's what we're taking. I don't know if I can show you now. That's what we're taking to the Himalayas. So these are some super practical bags made of one of the toughest material that you can find. And we make them to go on the sides of the motorcycle. And yeah, basically it's going to be, from now on, the whole range is going to develop. And then we have another range coming with riders equipment. So there's whole protections and so on, and protections for the motorcycles. But that's later. Why I'm telling you this is when you start having an idea of building an e-commerce, please build a brand. Please have a vision of the next ranges coming.
And go into a little bit of why they want to do that. About maybe a month ago, you sent me a message talking about kind of your warning for drop shippers, where you see the future going for drop shipping generic products, general stores, etc. Can you walk into that a little bit, how you came to that conclusion, what the warning is, and what the solution is that you're talking about?
Yeah, I'm going to sound a bit rough on this, but if we look at it from a little bit of a distance, if you're doing drop shipping without branding, if you're not building a brand while you're doing drop shipping, you are going straight into a wall. Facebook ads, the prices are raising. Do you imagine Facebook ads price going down in the next years? No, the big brands are coming. Everyone is competing. We can already see that drop shipping that was working in 2016, like on stupid products, is getting much harder now in 2017. And you get competition from AliExpress, from Amazon. Those guys, they want your customers, and they are targeting the same people than you are. So you're fighting against Mr. Zuckerberg and Mr. Jack Ma from Alibaba. I wish you good luck. So try to escape that race. Try to escape that. Build a brand. You can do it with dropshipping in the beginning, though I quickly advise to make your own products and give better service to the customer. But get out of that and build a brand.
So what did that look like for you? Because you started with the idea that you wanted to build a brand. Here's what a lot of people get hung up on. And I don't think that people who are entrepreneurs at heart have this problem, because they typically take a lot of action. They're kind of more ready, fire, aim, right? But a lot of people who are not maybe entrepreneurs at heart but want to become them are ready. Right. And they may not even ever aim, fire. So what did that look like for you? And what pitfalls did you run into creating a brand that maybe people, if they know it's in the future when you create a brand, can overcome easier?
Right. So first, about the ready. Yeah, that's true. Guys, you have only, it sounds very cliche, but you have only one shot at life. You're 20, you get 25, you get 30. It goes very fast. And you can read as many self-development books, and you can know Tim Ferriss by heart. And if you don't freaking do the first steps, it's going to be really hard to go anywhere. And it's going to get hard. Of course, if you go in something that you don't know, you're going to go through ups and downs, and you're going to feel lost and so on. So this is another reason to do something that you love. Find something you're passionate about. It sounds cliche also, but if you put 2 or 3 years of work and it doesn't work, and you were in something that you didn't like, oh my God, it must feel so bad. So that's the first point. Then Trevor, I'm sorry, what was the second part of your question?
Yeah, the second part was, what obstacles did you have creating a brand that you think are universal? Everybody will have them when creating a brand. And if they know that this is going to happen up front, it'll be easier to overcome.
Right. Yeah. I think, again, it comes down to having the vision of what industry and what niche you want to be in, and where you want to go, because you don't want to stop at your first product. A lot of people want to build a first successful product, and they will not plan for success. They don't know, like, let's say you start to make money from this product, what do you do after? And there comes the coherence of the brand, the planning of the brand. So you have to think much further.
So one of the things also that you do that I don't see a lot of people doing that are maybe low 7 and high 6-figure ranges is you actually run lead ad campaigns. And I see most people simply doing website conversions and not attempting to gather leads. And you consistently do that. Can you talk to us about that a little bit?
Yeah, it goes with the. It's a very good question, and it goes with the branding and the story. So you are in your niche, you are building a brand, and you have to have a story. Uh, Again, if you're selling dog accessories and you don't even have a dog and you don't care about dogs, what kind of story are you gonna have? Nothing. So find something you like and start to tell your story. So I like to travel by motorcycle. I can without a problem talk with all the customers and share with them. Now, why leads? Because it's very important that you escape this Facebook ads. For example, if the Facebook ads are raising, what are you gonna do? Your margins are going to go down, and at the end you are not going to make profit anymore. So you get the emails, you get those email into some email sequence, you tell them your story, you communicate with them, the customers, they start to know you more and more, they trust you, they buy your existing products, or they buy your next products, and you build that connection. This is an investment in the future.
So do you recommend that everybody, even people perhaps with general stores who have not yet built out a brand but are starting to, do you recommend they walk down that path of actually doing lead ad campaigns?
I never thought about this. I would be very honest. I didn't think of how to apply that to a general a drop shipping store. Let me try to think about it quick. I think it wouldn't make sense, because I mean, if you have a general store, but you consider that you're building a brand, you must have a story, so then you can do emailing. What I mean is, if you are building a brand, it means you have a story.
Right.
Every famous brand we know, they have a story. So if you have a general store and you're not feeling you're building a brand, well, you're doing something wrong, I guess. You're gonna get wiped out in the future.
So this is kind of interesting, and this is how I envision it. And tell me if I see it wrong. Someone who likes, motorcycles or motorcycle travel on Facebook, you target them, and then a lead ad pops up, something like, the 5 mistakes I made when traveling 1,000 miles through Southeast Asia by motorcycle, something like that, right? An article like that. They put their email in. You get them on a nurturing sequence where you start sending them your own travels, the issues you had, and then how you solved them over a period of time, customer testimonials, and then you hit them on the back end with the opportunity to purchase the product. Is that the
it
process?
Yeah, it is partly correct, and you wanna have even more interaction with your audience. I asked them their advice. I asked them what they think about the product we are making now. For example, like, oh, how would they do this? Do they see a problem here? Or you really want to get that conversation going, and it's very important to build the connection this way.
So over the next couple of years, what do you see happening in e-commerce?
Well, that's a very tough one. I cannot go into any detail because I have no idea of the details. But as the trends go, so Facebook ads increasing. So I try to get people on your email list. It's free to send them emails. You can send email to 10,000 people, to 100,000 people. Or you're gonna have, of course, some little fees from Mailchimp or whatever. But it is free compared to running ads. So Facebook ads going up. I think all the rubbish drop shipping is it's gonna get very hard to make margins. Drop shipping with the branding, yeah, it's good. And guys, get that margin in. Find star products and start customizing the products and making your own products. Later on, it's not gonna be drop shipping anymore. You basically gonna be buying products from suppliers and selling them worldwide.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, Fred, in closing, I like to ask this question to people because a lot of people think that they want to do something. Fewer people say that they want to do it, and far fewer actually do it. And so, what makes the person is the actions that they do, not once, not twice, but repeatedly every day. What does your routine look like, day in, day out, from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed? Not the random stuff, but what do you consistently do, persistently?
Wow. Okay. I got a very, very special lifestyle traveling the world on a motorcycle. So, right now we have to ride by night because the roads are closed by the military during the day. So, and stuff like this happens all the time. But one thing I can say is the moment I wake up, I try to immediately go to do anything that requires thinking. Building an email that you send to 100,000 people, I want to do that in the morning immediately. I just shower, get breakfast, and go and do that stuff. So that's basically the one thing I can say.
Gotcha. So you take advantage of the morning hours, your fresh mind, and that's when
Yeah.
you do everything that's needed. Do you have a time of day that you consistently wake up? And I know that's hard because you travel all over the world, so the time zones change, etc. But if you're in the same time zone, are you a morning guy or a night owl?
Trevor, no rules here. Really, no rules. Just those 2 or 3 hours before I burn out, and then I just either go traveling, or I just go tasks that don't need my brain anymore.
Gotcha. Awesome. Fred, man, it's amazing. What day do you get back from your trip? Do you know what day it ends?
Oh man, it's gonna be madness there because of all like army tensions around there. So maybe in 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Okay, so if you happen to get internet before September the 30th, let's do a follow-up call that we can put onto the back end of this presentation. And I think that'd be incredible to share some about it, a little bit of the story, and how this trip, which is like a dream, how this helps reinforce your brand. Because when you create a brand around a passion, everything that you do helps build the brand. And so this, in essence, is a business trip for you, in addition to being a dream trip.
Yeah, if we get to do this, I'm gonna show you some crazy footage for sure. It's gonna be amazing. And thank you very much for the opportunity, Trevor. It was really good talking with you.
Absolutely. Fred, thank you so much for jumping on, man. Lots of gold. And reach out if it's before 30th, and let's chat then, okay?
I will.
All right, brother.
All
Thanks,
right.
man.